Good morning, everybody. Mr. Pace, I want to thank you for welcoming you to a special edition of Candidate Pace and Woburn Hills Exposed. Well, let's go over a few things really quick. I want to go over the agenda for the meeting that we have coming up. The district has the right to do anything they want during a board meeting, and that means anything, and I mean anything. What's going on right now is you're watching a board that is afraid I'm going to win this election, and they're making big changes at the last meeting that they can. They want to adopt new bylaws. They want to do a deal with something that has to do with Westwater, which no one ever heard of yet, and I want to welcome Falcon Fire Protection District to Woburn Hills, as I know that that was something they're doing. I'm now being threatened about a letter that was posted on my website. I'll get to that in a minute. And then I want to go over the issue of the dissolution or the dissolving of the PFA. So let's start right off. Somebody has been threatened about a letter that I posted on my website because now Jerry Jacobson and the staff are upset that I have that letter. And I've been told to take it down. Well, I'm not going to do that. So Jerry, you can forget about that. If you guys are actually transparent and know the law, that letter should have been released to everybody because that was a letter of basically resignation by the contractors over what you guys were doing in meetings over the rec center. Next, let's talk about the PFA dissolution. I have spoken with the IRS. You know, I filed a complaint with the IRS. The IRS said, don't worry about it. You know why? Because the IRS said them dissolving this thing right now looks so suspect it's not even funny. They will be in touch. Trust me. I don't have to worry about the IRS doing their job when it comes to dealing with what's going on with the PFA. Because after I gave them all the documents, all 1,344 pages, they were very interested in what was going on, considering $891,000 went missing, because it did. And this board knew it, and the board knew it when they did the taxes, and now they're trying to dissolve the PFA, and the PFA has debt. They have debt on the books. They have bonds and outstanding obligations. So the IRS guy, Mr. Johnson, okay, basically explained to me what they're doing isn't right. And now that we know what they're doing, they're basically trying to hide the financial evidence. That's what they're doing, okay? Mr. Johnson said basically all they're trying to do is cover their tracks. That's the nice way of saying you're trying to do something wrong and not get caught. So I want to thank Mr. Johnson and the IRS and their diligence in helping me resolve this matter. But they basically told me they're going to send a letter out to Woburn Hills and their attorneys asking, actually, they're going to send it out to Rachel Hawkins because her name's on the tax returns, and ask her what the hell's going on. And then, now that's going to cause some problems. Now, the $891,000, whether or not anybody likes it, when they dissolved the PFA should have came right back to Woburn Hills, but the money's gone. It's gone. And it left the district in 2017. I now have almost what I need to prove that Mr. Green may have absconded with the money, because Jan Pizzi stated we owed him more money. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We didn't owe him any. He has not owed anything. Nothing. Okay, that's the fallacy. See, Mr. Green convinced the boards that he was owed all this money, and that's why the boards were signing the agreements with him, all right, to act as, well, basically it's a consulting agreement. Then when Mrs. Pizzi explained to me that he was involved in the elections, I already knew that. I just wanted her to tell me the truth. Okay, not only was he consulting with the district on everything from bonds to debt to elections, he was basically doing it with just certain people, which was all the board members except basically Walter Porter, who said he didn't like him. That's fact. And Jan admitted that too, that him and Wally didn't get along. And that's what happened to Jeanette Hudson when they had that famous meeting. He didn't like her, so wasn't going to be part of the clique. So now that you know that I have been having discussions with Mrs. Pizzi, the bombshells is that the information posted on the website was done intentionally. Newsletter, intentionally. Court of public opinion, intentionally. It was all done to smear me. That's why it stayed up. Mike Pizzi admitted that it was supposed to be $300,000 in open records issues, not lawsuits. But they let the information stand for 3 years. I now have that. And you know I do. So there's no going back on that. Hold on. The board is now trying to change the bylaws to stop certain individuals from obtaining records or seeking information while elected to the board. Why is the board doing this in the last meeting? Because they know they risk losing control of the board or majority vote. Well, unfortunately, all the stuff that they do at this meeting can be undone at the next meeting. Should I get on the board, it's going to be all undone. They know it. What they're trying to do is cover their tracks for what Mr. Bendelow did and for what, unfortunately, Troy Stinson did. Okay? There is now a video recorded archive of what the board did to me. And if they destroy it, it's evidence. That's why I don't understand why you would record issues about me and then jumping on me, yelling at me, screaming at me, and threatening me, and it's all memorialized on the record. That makes no sense. And just so you'll understand, the 9 of you, saw me talking to that deputy the other day. It was that deputy who suggested I do what I need to do. And that's considered done. Because you just can't keep doing it. And it wasn't just one meeting. There's actually 7 different meetings where I'm the brunt of an abusive attack by the board and its president. 7. Those are memorialized. There's no way of getting out of that. Okay? And the last couple that were really bad with the finger pointing and the yelling, just going to have to stop. What's going on is Mr. Stinson knows he's losing control of the district if I get elected or certain other people get elected, and he's done. That's why he's scrambling so hard to fight me. 6 email blasts about my signs. That was directed at me. The State of the Union directed at me. All of it was directed by this district, who is now so far involved in this election, and it's never happened before. Do I seem unreasonable? Nope. Do I seem upset? Nope, not going to bother. This is all going to get challenged, and he knows it. It's the look of impropriety. It's something me and some of the other candidates stated. I mean, the timing of it is poor. You're doing all these things right when the ballots come out. You know, when you're trying to get the signs ripped down, and then you're attacking me on social media with information that's absolutely and blatantly false, patently false. I feel bad for the 35 people who commented on Facebook saying they think they know the truth, when the reality of it is it's not true. It's just not true. And I mean, I wish it was, because then I guess you would be able to say it was, but like rats off a sinking ship, everybody is panicking because they want a rec center. And all of this against you is, I'm sad for the 6,500 or so people that are going to get stuck with a bill they can't afford because somebody's mommy wants a basketball court for her son. That's a fact. Go look at the meeting last March where 2 people go at it in the room over a basketball court so her kid can have a nice warm place to play basketball. That's what this is about. One parent wanting her son to have everything, and mommy's going to get it, and we're going to get stuck paying for it. Question is, I hope there's an out clause for all of these things, because if I get elected, it's not going forward. I will not double your taxes. That's never going to happen. I will not raise that park and rec fee anymore. We're not going to give out bonuses or raises or anything at the minimum, and I mean minimum. When I say minimum, if the minimum wage goes up and we have 5 or 6 people that have to get a raise, we have to give them a raise. That's different than the $400,000 nobody's talking about that this board gave out in raises. It was this board who gave Mrs. Peterson her severance package. I don't care what Josh and them did. Basically, all that money that was paid out in bonuses and all that was hush money. Hush money. You keep your mouth shut for working for Benjamin Green, and we're good with it. Well, guess who else was working with Mr. Green? Yeah, Lynn Bliss had a meeting with Troy Stinson right after the election before he was sworn in. Okay? Now it's been verified, and I can't wait to tell you at the first meeting I'm elected who was the rat, because that rat does not like Mr. Stinson. Because it was Mr. Stinson who went into the office, got the information about the bonuses, and then gave it to John Martin. How would I know that? I wouldn't. I'm not a mind reader, folks. I got a pretty good idea what's going on. Now, you've got 2 people involved in the election. They're going to be in the room with the ballots. I'm filing an objection to that, okay? I don't want them anywhere near those ballots. Then, I'm going to tell you something that was told to me today okay, because it's, what, 8 o'clock now. But yesterday someone told me something, and then the person called me back to verify it. You want to know how you stuff a ballot box? When they take the ballots and they put them in a box, and not in Wayne Williams' house, under his mattress. Okay, that was the biggest mistake he ever made. That one, that's got to go down as one of the dumbest things a DEO could ever do. They weren't even in a locked box. They were just at his house in a locked room. He's not going to be able to say anything to get out of that. That's done. The damage is done. Now, how do you stuff a ballot? Okay, so the district printed 300 extra ballots. I think it's 300 or 500. What you do is you have someone check them all off, but you don't fill out the back of the ballot. You just write some scribbly gobbledygook. Because who's doing the authentication? Wayne, right? The guy that's basically doing this. And guess who else is doing the ballot authentication? The staff. So Hunky Dory could vote, or IP Freely could vote, and they're going to say, yep, yep, yep. So what happens? Well, then you take that ballot, it goes into the box, right? You don't know if it was authenticated or not. You have no idea if people that are out and scattered throughout Colorado Springs have voted in our election because Wayne and the staff have authenticated that ballot to go into the box. Once it's been done, it doesn't matter. Nobody else checks the ballots. Okay? Then what they do is that when stuff starts to appear, nobody has a chance to go over whether or not those ballots were righteous. In the previous elections, I never had access to any of that. I was told I couldn't have it. I'm not worried about the election, and I'm not worried about losing. I've said that once, and I'll say it again. If you want a higher bill, if you want a mill levy, if you want to see your family suffer in this economic downtime, well, then that's what you're going to get. But I just don't believe that only 350 people voted for me and would rather see their bills skyrocket. I don't care what you do for a living, but if the average bill goes from 224 to almost 250, are you going to care then? That's what the average bill is. I want to explain and express to you that this election is not only geared against me, it was done by Mr. Stinson, who is afraid of losing. He has retaliated against me for 2 years. Actually, a year and a half, I apologize, because he lost his case to shut down this site. And now 4 of the people involved with him want to shut down this site. Your decision is going to be paramount in the future, because in the next couple months, you're going to either get stuck with a rec center and a basketball court and a higher bill that you have no other option but to pay, or we're going to be facing some seriously tough economic times. And with oil prices dropping and property values that are going to be going down, let me ask you a question. Who's the one guy that you came to see the video on? Me. And who's the one guy that shot straight with you all the way? Me. And who's the one guy that tried to bring you the truth about what was going on, about the lack of transparency and the blown trust of this board? Me. And who's the one guy that can fix it day one? Me. Now you know why Mr. Stinson and the board are panicking. They are outright panicking. Okay? I believe in you. I believe in your family. And even if I get elected, I still have to represent all of them. I just won't be giving them a rec center, and I won't be doubling up on your taxes. Now, please take a moment to think about that when you're voting, because that's what you're up against. So whether you like me or not, if you vote for somebody else that you're a little iffy on, you can kiss that bill goodbye. And you can kiss your happiness goodbye, because you'll be fighting over it and your family will be upset with you. Me, I've already voted. I know what's going on. And I know we got some really good candidates who don't want this to happen. So if it happens, well, then I know what you think. And you let people that make a lot more money than you make your decision. 86% said no. Don't let the 14% of Woodman Hills residents make a decision for you and your family that's going to cost you big time. Get out and vote. Please. Thank you.